SPA, doing the same thing as we did with the house wrap. So sealed poly approach. Try to use the same colors here. So maybe we'll start with the air barrier. Air barrier we had was yellow. So the air barrier on the ceiling will be yellow. So we have 6 mil poly on the ceiling. Like I was saying before in the previous video, the 6 mil poly on the ceiling acts as both air and vapor. So there's the air on the ceiling. From there, you have the air on the inside, sealed poly approach. So it's basically telling you that the poly is the air. So those pieces of plastic get sealed. So that'll continue coming down. And that'll curl onto the ground. Again, that'll get sealed to the plywood because it's an air barrier. So it's sealed right in that corner. Let's see if I turn on the light here. Gets rid of the shadow. And then from there we do the header wrap. So the header wrap is part of the air barrier. So it would come up that plate a little bit, onto the plywood floor, down around, and curl. I find the most realistic way is bringing it and sealing it to the foundation wall. Because realistically, if I brought that all the way over to here and stapled it down, that's just adding for an element of collecting water potentially. But just, how do you not rip it? So the rim wrap is kind of a delicate thing to begin with. So I prefer to see go here, 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 and then seal to the foundation wall. So the Tyvek rim wrap and the 6 mil poly and the plywood all have to be sealed. So there's 3 connections occurring here. So the Tyvek, 6 mil, and plywood all sealed, making it one. Then it wraps around, and then it's going to be sealed to the foundation wall here. Then making the concrete. The foundation is air in the basement. Some people had this kind of confused. What they did was they made a line here, line here, line here, and carried it over to here, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. Then this becomes your air and vapor. So what I'm doing, I'm sealing to the foundation wall, so the membrane in the basement is only going to be vapor. Some people made the mistake. They sealed it to the foundation wall, but then they put a layer of poly here, and they call that layer of poly air and vapor. But there's a gap. It's not continuous. It has to be continuous, right? So if you seal to the foundation wall, your foundation is your air, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you bring it into the inside, then that's the air and the vapor. Okay? So in our case, the foundation is going to be the air. Okay? So I could draw a line that represents the air there, but I don't want to confuse it with the moisture barrier. So we'll leave that as is. So sealed poly approach, the poly is your air, right? Sealed poly is your air. So follow the ceiling, sealed here, follow the wall, sealed down here, follows the Tyvek, and then gets sealed to the foundation wall. So that there, Tyvek, is the rim wrap. So I'm going to just write Tyvek rim wrap, and it's air only. Okay, so and then from there the foundation wall takes over. Next we can do is our vapor. So the vapor barrier is going to be the same material on the ceiling. So it's going to be 6 mil poly, acts as vapor and air on the wall. same thing. It's the same product, not two products nailed on. It's only one product. Just drawing two lines to represent the two layers. So again, that's the same thing. I'll just take an arrow over from there. It's identical. 6 mil poly installed. Vapor and air are what that material is being used for. When we get into the basement, we have the insulation here that's going to stop flush. Path insulation is red. Vapor barrier blue. We'll finish the insulation. Throw a vent in there. Styro vent. So we're working on vapor, so we'll continue with the vapor. So the vapor is going to go here. It would be a smart vapor retarder. And then we can continue with that vapor barrier in the basement. Which again, smart vapor retarder. We don't want to use 6 mil poly in the basement, as discussed on the previous video. So if we look at the vapor barrier, make sure we did that correctly. It follows the ceiling, it overlaps, follows the wall, overlaps, touches plywood, and then again touches plywood, making it continuous. The overlap here, continuous down to the basement where it touches the floor. So vapor barrier is continuous all the way through. We'll go ahead and add in our foundation moisture barrier, which we'll put in as a green, just a green, top piece, stop, and then it overlaps, right? Very important to remember. So shed the water, right? Water comes through, it's going to hit that tar paper, and it's going to run down. If we do the opposite, we're dumping water into the wall. And then we have the exterior. No, we'll do the damp proofing first. Foundation damp proofing, just a little bit above grade. Curl that a little bit. Call that our foundation damp proofing. This is our, so that's going to be tar. Moisture, the foundation moisture barrier. That's going to be tar paper. That's a smart vapor retarder. The label goes the same. That's a piece of Tyvek. We have the exterior moisture barrier left. We'll put that into a lighter blue. So now that doesn't have to go through the plates. It just follows straight down. It doesn't get sealed at the top. Just comes down, just acting as a moisture barrier. So basically it's a membrane put in place to keep out the snow, keep out the rain, keep out the sun, keep out the wind. It doesn't have to seal at the bottom. It should come all the way down. So there'll be 2 layers of Tyvek there. A lot of people will tape that, but you might put a flash in there, so you may want to wait. By not taping it, since it's not the air, by not taping it, if water got behind the house wrap, it has a way to get out. So maybe not taping that when it's only a moisture barrier is a good idea. So moisture, put that in a different thing. That's going to be probably Tyvek, or could be other products because it's not the air, right? Could be Typar. Anything that's able to be used as an air barrier can be put on there. Or sorry, as a moisture barrier. Anything that can be used as a moisture barrier can be put on the inside. So do we have everything labeled? I think so. Missing moisture barrier underneath here. That's a moisture. You gotta put it in blue. probably like a 10 mil poly. I forgot to put that on the last video there, but 10 mil poly. Moisture there, so whenever the wheelbarrow goes over, it's a 10 mil being a little bit thicker. So the wheelbarrow goes over, there's going to be rocks underneath that, right? 6 inches or so, whatever the height of your footing of 3/4 inch clear gravel. So when the wheelbarrow has concrete into it, it's going to be going over top of that, possibly puncturing holes. So a little bit thicker will then stop that from happening. There should also be a drainage layer put on here. It's not part of the assignment, so I'm not going to bother, but drainage layer goes on after. So damp proofing is basically damp proofing the foundation is basically allowing the water not to go through the foundation. Then we need to put a layer on top of that to protect it from getting damaged. So that's the drainage layer. But the drainage layer serves two purposes. Protects the damp proofing, but also allows the water to flow quickly down into the gravel and then into the weeping tile. Some people cover the gravel with a geotextile cloth, and that just collects any silt so that the gravel remains a filter. If silt gets into the gravel, then the gravel becomes a solid mass and it won't absorb the water properly and won't work as a system. So I think we've got everything covered here. Hopefully this helps. This will be on your test, so make sure you take a look at it. It's a test on Tuesday. If you have any questions, send it to me by email. Thanks.